name is Maruka Nishina, and I will be the MC for today's discussion and presentations. So first I will explain the rules. Each team has 20 minutes to present and discuss. The order of presentation is Yamate Gakuen, Yokohama Minato Sogo High School, St. Moore International School Team A, and then St. Moore International School Team B. For the first 5 to 10 minutes, the group will present a slideshow. Next, for the rest of the 20 minutes, there will be a question and answer session. Please raise your hand when you have a question, and please ask your question when you are called upon. Each group will be presenting at the front, but before you present, Karen here will introduce you. Now, Yamate Gakuen students, please come up to the front.
This is Akita Koji. He is also in 11th grade and he is Japanese. He wants to live in Machu Picchu and become the next Indiana Jones. This is Yamamoto Chie. She is also in 11th grade and is Japanese. She wants to have her future living in Greece. This is Miss Tozaki, and she is fond of a traditional family dish from Nepal called dal bhat.
Hello, we are Yamate High School students, and we are going to talk about the education, Finnish and Japanese education. Look at this picture, please. Okay, what do you think of these pictures we are showing you now? The left picture is how Chinese students who want to go to a top ranked university are studying for their entrance exams. The white one is how Finnish students are taking the class. This is only one of many examples of each education, but at least we can say this shows a big difference of the role of education between both China and Finland. At this time, we especially focused on the environment surrounding students.
I focused on the environment surrounding the students, and there are 2 points. The first point is the population difference, and as you can see, Japan is 126.7 million, Korea is 50 million, and Finland is 5.4 million. I think there are a lot of difference, but Finland has a really wide country, although Japan has more people, and I think this leads to the problem in the class. There are many students. There are more students in one class in Japan, and there are about 35 to 50 people. But in Finland, there are 26 to 32 people in the class, and if there are more than 35 people, they separate the class into 2. And if there are more students in one class, the teachers can't look after every single student, so I think there should be less students. Not less, but I think Japan should separate classes into more, because the teachers can't look after the students. And the second point is the education expenses. The OECD average is 21.9%, and Japan is 50%. This is 5.0, but so for example, Japan's rate would say 0.5, that means 50%. So Japan's average is 50%. The high school education expenses would be borne by the country, and the other 50% would be borne by your own. As you can see, there's a lot difference between Korea and Finland, and there are more than 70% of the difference. Finland is supposed to say 0.04, and it's true that the taxes are really high in Finland, but the country burdens the education expenses, so even if you don't have the money to pay the education expenses, you would get a really high level education as same as the wealthy kids. And even though there are many students out there willing to study, if you can afford the expenses, because like in Korea, you have to pay 80% of the expenses. So if you put it extremely, the children's futures depends on their parents' incomes.
I focused on especially English education, and this is the average score of TOEFL IBT by Japanese examinees. Generally, it is said that people in Japan aren't good at English. However, this chart shows that Japanese TOEFL IBT score has been increasing, as you see. Okay. Now, we can say that Japanese English ability has improved more than before, but if we compare it with the other countries' score, can it really be excellent even worldwide? Okay, this is a chart which was classified by country. As you see, Japanese score is still very low worldwide. Instantly, Japan took 27th place of 30 Asian countries, and 135th place of 163 countries of the world. What is the reason for Japanese low English skills? And then I focused on types of native languages which are spoken by examinees. These blue charts mean Indo-European languages. English also belongs to them. They have similar grammar and words each other, so we can guess people who speak such languages can master English faster than people who speak the other languages. Yeah, this chart shows us that people in Japan tend to be not good at listening and speaking. Okay, let's focus on English education in Finland. It starts from the age of 9 in Finnish English education in Finland. Its emphasis is on oral expression, so students can speak only English during class. And give an opportunity to discuss in English. And there are various styles of teaching not to get bored with learning English. I think the way of English teaching like this will foster the attitude to express oneself willingly. Comparatively, English education in Japan tends to spend much time to teach grammar, so most of the Japanese students aren't given opportunities of oral expressions in their classes. In my opinion, that's why the Japanese are generally said that we are not good at English.
Now I'm going to talk about job consciousness. Even it has changed in these few years, Japan has a society which sets greater value on the academic career of an individual more than on its real ability. So a lot of Japanese children tend to decide what to do in the future late. Comparatively, Nordic countries such as Finland, students talk about what they want to do to their school teachers since they are in elementary school. Teachers seriously think about what they can do to the student's dream and make different plans for each student. Even if the plans change as they grow, the teachers think various plans for each student and make them up again. Also, I think there's a difference about interests of politics. In South Korea, the sales tax rate is 10%, and in Japan it is 8%. On the other hand, the Nordic countries have a high rate such as 25 or 24%. You can see that there is a large difference in the figure of parliamentary voter turnout. This is only my opinion, but I think as Nordic countries' children pay a lot for the things they need, they have more interest in being participated in politics. That may relate a little on being conscious of what to do for a job in the future. Of course, there's a difference in the social security system and educational system, so we cannot compare this completely. Each society has its own way of education and living, so we cannot say which one is right or bad. But since we are young, I think we can create our new way of living. So let's start thinking about it.
In our opinion, education is largely influenced by environment surrounding the students, such as the income of parents, concern in politics, geographic factor, and so on. Thank you so much for your listening.
It is now time, so let's move on to the next presentation. Thank you for your presentation about the difference of education and future plans between different countries.